Welcome everybody to Namaste Village. As you can see, I'm not James. James is in Portland, and today we'll be led by Vicky. And I hereby declare that it is Friday, Holy Friday. Wouldn't it be great if every day was a special holiday? Not just Easter Sunday, but every day was the resurrection. So we declare together that this is Holy Friday, whatever that means to you. And let's turn it over to Vicky.
Morning, Brother Scott. Thank you. Thank you for the music. Thank you for your opening words. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. It's also Flashback Friday, and Scott will be on at 11:30 for another half hour for inspired sharing and immediate help to anyone that requests a little help. So good morning, all you guys. And let's begin, and then I'll tell you, whoops. Wait a minute, I'll have to stop that. Hold on. So let's begin with, I can't do the real prayer unless you have it there, Scott, but with our heart, our mind, and our soul. Let's together, remember we share one purpose, that we have come together to awaken to the divinity that is the only reality that we share and that we are. We open our hearts. We open our minds. We give all our strength, all our desires, all of our being to this one endeavor, that we awaken body, mind, and soul to the holy divinity that we share and love. This is our soul's purpose. This is our purpose for being here on earth now. And we allow that fulfillment to be this moment now, as we open our eyes and awaken to the love that we are now. Amen. So you guys, I'm having a very real experience. We just had an earthquake a few minutes ago. I don't know if any of you seen it on the news or anything. I have not. I just got a few calls, but I've never been in an earthquake before. And shiver my timbers, it was like, everything was shaking, the house, everything, my cat, me. But it certainly brought me, oh my gosh, to an immediate experience of thank you, God. Thank you, because in that moment, I grew up Roman Catholic. And many of you that have had Catholic traditions, you've learned a bunch of prayers, one of them, the Hail Mary. And what I've noticed is, as soon as there's big trauma, there's that part of me that goes to Hail Mary, full of grace. Not even the rest of it, just Hail Mary, full of grace. And isn't that mother's energy? It isn't just Mary who played a figure here in time as the mother of Jesus, but it's that divine motherhood, that divine mother that we all have come from, that this is the age, and in this awakening that we're coming to now, the end of an era, and the end of the era is the time where resurrection fulfills itself, not just as it did in Jesus, but in each of us. And part of the beginning of the new age that we're coming into, the new age that this time has led us to, that is now the fulfillment of, is this time of accepting and integrating that divine maternal feminine part, where we have a full surrender and a full opening to what the mother of creation is. Because there are a lot of calls coming to know if we're okay here. We're all okay. But we're opening to a new beginning. And new beginnings traditionally become with the blending of our energies. Not that there are two in divinity. There's no sex in divinity. There's not Mother God, Father God. There's the beingness of our Creator, and that we share in that. And we are coming, though, into a more direct experience of that feminine part as we usher in this new time of living in love. Living in love is a way of life. And that experience of the mother's energy is an experience of allowing ourselves to be totally nurtured and cared for by a loving mother. That's what a mother does. A mother nurtures and cares for. And we're being called into everything, into life this moment, from the resurrection, from the awareness of realizing we are not simply bodies, but death has been conquered in all of its appearances. And we are the living witness to that, to birthing in this new age of love being the only way of life, while we still are here in time and space, in this realm of experience. So the time of the mother is at hand, and it's at hand in many, many traditions as describing it that way. In many of the indigenous traditions, in many of the esoteric traditions, that the time of the feminine is being realized and felt by all of us, because it is the most gentle and most natural way for us to be born again. If we've been resurrected from an old way of life, we're being born now into this new way of life that is based fully, totally, and completely on love, and on letting love, which is what we are, lead us, guide us, take us, move us, and gather unto us all that has been rejected by us, recognizing there is nothing other than love, nothing now to reject. So I'm going to read you a few sentences. And, I've shared this book before. This is The Age of the Heart by Sebastian Blakesley. And excuse me, I'll tell you, this shook me up, this little earthquake here. I'm still shaking a little bit. And of course, what's the first thing a mother does? Check on her kid. And I'm trying to get Teddy. Are you there? Are you okay? Where are you? And they're all okay. But that feeling of being shaken it's what we all go through, mild to wild. And an earthquake is a good example. But how many earthquakes do we have in our life, maybe on a daily basis? And the Course in Miracles is wonderful and has given us a tool called the Holy Instant, where we turn to that holy instant and we ask, we surrender. And in this age now, is the best image I have is that image of that mother's love. And it's not a physical love. It's that image of what we have been birthed into and where our source of help comes from, that mother's embrace, that mother's love. So I wanted to read you just a couple of sentences from here, because this book, The Age of the Heart, that Sebastian has been given, that has come through his own Christ mind, a great example of collaboration, much as James's stories are collaborations of his Christ mind with his being, and Scott, of you, and many of us here in this room. We are collaborating, we are joining with, we are recognizing our shared divinity. And in this collaboration, it emphasizes the role of the mother, that feminine aspect, which is the mother's unconditional love that we spoke of yesterday. So, and I'm feeling this right now because I'm still a little shaken as everything shook here. It says, blessed soul, you who receive these words, ensconce yourself within my sweet heart. And this is the mother speaking. Take refuge in me. Make the grace of my divine love yours, for that it is. And here are the directions, and I'm taking them literally right now. Do not allow anguish, sadness, and fear to nest in you. Don't allow it. Take a stand. No. I will transform them into joy, song, and greater knowledge of the love of the Mother, Father, God who lives in you. Here's the direction. Rest in the stillness of our holy encounter. Here where sweetness dwells and the beauty of our union envelops all that we are. Rest. Let yourself be loved. It's that let again. And then he says, one of the signs of this new consciousness, of this new time that is birthing, and look, this is the time of the big solar eclipse coming in over the weekend on Monday. Everything is geared for a greater opening and awakening. And access to this awakening is this simple, sweet surrender to rest in love like a child, like an infant, rests in the mother's breast, rest right at the heart. We're called to rest. We're called to have that total collapse into that love that will come in and fill us and then love through us and as us. So this is, it says, one of the signs of the new consciousness or the age of the heart is the significant relevance that Mother Mary has and will have. Integration of this being is necessary prior to achievement of the kingdom of Christ on earth, because only in her, not meaning her specifically, but in that feminine energy of yielding and of being nurtured by our Creator, does truth in unity exist. To melt in love is to become one. This will be understood more and more in these new times until it is finally accepted by all. Immerse yourself every day in the love of the living Mother, your heavenly Mother. It is necessary in these times so full of grace and blessing. Remember, you are living at a time in history when heaven and earth are coming together as never before. Jesus says they will not exist as separate states. Why? Because they are not existing as separate states in us. And the passage, the safe passage for all of us, is to rest like an infant rests at his mother's bosom. It's the time when we rest and we let love fill us completely, and everything else melts away. Everything. Let's see. The more you let yourself be loved by her, the more ardent love you will feel for Christ. For the love of the feminine of Mary arises not through devotion only, for love is universal. Every time you love peace, harmony, every time we open to beauty, the beauty of a sunrise or a sunset, every time we open and experience and enjoy beauty and love, that feminine aspect all around us, we are coming into the experience of ourselves as only that. She says here, loving your brothers and sisters, loving yourself and all creation in the love of God is how you make the truth about who you are shine on earth as it is in heaven. Remember, the only essential thing is love. I'm inviting you to remain united to the source of holy love, which is the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Now, the Immaculate Heart is nothing but one who never willed to be separate from the Father, from the source, from the Creator. That's this time we are returning to. Jesus ushered us in through the what we see as the crucifixion, even in our own lives where we think we have passed through pain, into a resurrection. That's what we're living in now. We have passed through by letting go of all these attachments to ideas and physical everything, and surrendered into once and for all, rested into a total abandonment, into thy will be done. That is the end of the era and the beginning of the new era. Thy will be done is how Jesus expressed it. And the new era is this new birth of still here in time and space, birthing in through the mother's love, through that feminine openness, through that total dependency on that universal love that has no will other than we are as God created us. Thy will be done. The Immaculate Heart is what the resurrection has brought us into, that we have no other will but the Father's will, the Creator's will. And that Creator's will is expressed as the love that we see, that we give to one another, that we enjoy all around us, no matter the appearances. And for me, no matter the appearance of an earthquake shaking this little house of mine, shaking this little whole area, shake it up. Because as we fall back into, and for me, I feel Mary full of grace, as we fall back into the mother's love, let it be born through me as me, the new time of love here on earth, where heaven and earth are not separate states, where heaven and earth abide in me as our only reality, and that we have easy access to it. From mild to wild, we can wait for the traumatic experiences of our life, like an earthquake, or whatever happens in our life, a death or whatever. We can wait for those moments, or as these directions say, we can cradle love day and night. We can cradle it. Let it be easy. Let's enjoy this new birth. Let's let everything that we are be a cradle for love emerging as the only way of life. Let it be the only way of life for us. And as we look about us, we will see that it becomes the only way of life for all of us. Maybe for us as individuals, for us as we join in little circles of love and prayer wherever we are. But ultimately, it has to be everyone's decision that we are as God created us. We are spirit. We look upon the flesh lightly. We recognize the spirit holy in ourselves and each other. Rest in the arms of Mary. Rest in her immaculate heart. Rest in our own immaculate heart, where there is no room for self-will, but that we, in our rebirth here, we have literally been reborn because it is our will to accept that we have only one will, the acceptance of ourselves. If you're looking at the lessons for the last few days in the course are wonderful. The unity readings have been wonderful, that we are as God created us, that joy and peace abide in us. And as we abide in joy and peace, everything else melts away. We are the witnesses to it. So let me see, what else did I want to say to you? Okay. In doing so, you will give the world the greatest treasure. You will be bringing heaven to earth. You will be making the new earthly kingdom shine in all its glory. And above all, you will give yourselves the joy of living in the fullness of love. I bless you in this truth. We are blessed, and it is, Jesus says in the Course, we're only here to heal and bless and comfort. That's our only function here. And when we find ourselves troubled, when we shake, when there's an earthquake, Hail Mary, we run to the mother's love, and we stop, drop, and pray right there, and let that love take us. There's no effort. And here, believe me, there's nothing you can do with an earthquake. There's nothing I could do except grab my little cat, grab, where's Munchkin? Grab the cat, check my son. There's nothing to do but to surrender. So let this new beginning be our greatest surrender into the mother's love, into that love that has no opposite, that love that is immaculate with one will, that we are love, created as love, to be here as love, to give love. And when we're threatened, it's okay, be threatened and drop and surrender back into a mother's love. One of the greatest gifts, I've had many mothers in my life, my mother, my godmother, I've had spiritual mothers, my cousin Vicky that I told you about that just passed, she was a mother in my life. She'd say, sweet girl, you are all love, sweet girl. And I want to tell you again, here's the continuing unfoldment of my cousin Vicky. who is not in her body. Again, a phone call came last night to my sisters and I. This is only the acts of love. And when we witness them as that, it's really nothing to do but rejoice and let the earthquake shake all around us. But all we have to do is rest and drop right there and rest in the mother's love. Whatever Hail Mary full of grace is for each of us, we drop into the mother's love, unconditional love. Let ourselves be loved. I love you all. Rest and let ourselves be loved. Brother Scott, do you have something you'd like to share and add on that? And then before you end, remember that we'll transition into Scott's Flashback Friday.
Thank you, Vicky. That was so beautiful. Just resting in her arms. The ego, in its spiritual workaholism, says, what do I do? How do I do this? How do I do this thing called resting? Who is this mother? Can I read more about it? Rest, beloved friends. You're not searching for something. You're allowing what has already been embracing you to reveal herself. Allowing rather than efforting. And it is indeed the time of birthing the feminine onto this planet. And with birth, as most women know, there are contractions, earthquakes. We are not just the ones going through the birthing process. We are the midwives holding space for the entire planet to be born as gently as possible. And our only responsibility is to be gentle with ourselves. That is accepting the atonement for yourself. Resting in the heart of feminine, divine grace. And then the ego's constant question, what to do, what to do, just comes to rest, relax, and learns to chill out, that there is no four-alarm fire to put out. All fires have been put out. So breathe that in. There's no urgency, there's no emergency, there's no spiritual work to do, but allowing, resting, chilling out. and the thought arises. Those of us on Zoom or listening on YouTube don't want to hear silence. They need words. Palabras, por favor. We don't need more words. We do need more rest. Yeah. And Vicky, would you take it from here as I go back to my casita to prepare?
Yes, dear Scott and Scott, I needed to rest like that. Thank you so much. I needed that. And that's a gift to all of us. You know, in this new time, we're not about the doing from our own ideas, even from what we've thought of as inspiration. Wherever we're going to be brought, we will be brought so much will be brought by grace. And that's a new way of being that collectively we've seen ourselves do that here and there and each other and certainly many saints and sages. But imagine a whole world living by grace and not by the need to be doing, but by the joy of loving and just sharing and loving are coming, are like bubbling up in us to take over from the doing and finishing and achieving and getting things done. The loving and the sharing and the resting are the ways of grace, and more will be done than in all of our efforting to do. That's how we need do nothing, but let this grace and this loving just kind of guide us like soft winds to a sailboat, not storm winds. We're going with gentle, beautiful skies and soft winds that just propel us. The other night, I told some of you, had to decide what to do for Easter. I was invited to go to West Virginia with my son and family, to my daughter-in-law's family, or to stay here or someplace else. And I truly didn't know what to do. And I knew I don't need to know what to do. I need to let love show me what to do. And I went to sleep. If we was going to West Virginia, I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning to go. And, I said, thy will be done. You show me. And this is my little friend, my little Jesus doll, Judy, who's here, sent it to me. And I took Jesus and I said, okay, you just show me. And that same feeling of the mother's love. What is the mother? What is the loving, the nurturing in me? How should it show up? And I just went to sleep instead of betwixt and between, which is what I'd usually do. I think, oh no, whatever. I really went to sleep not knowing. And I said, love will take care of me. I don't have to know. And didn't it ever? I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. That's when they were going to leave. I woke up clear as a bell, not bothered by a thing, and knew what to do. I got dressed, packed a little bag, and I was downstairs and in front of the house. And we all took off at 4:30 in the morning for West Virginia. And that's how decisions can be made. That's how, whatever, there's a direction in our life where we not go here or go there. We just rest into a holy moment. Every time we rest, it's a holy moment. We live by resting instead of by any of the doing. And then our doings are effortless. And I'm so glad I went because my daughter-in-law's mother had made me a room, an Easter basket, all kinds of presents. And I would have felt badly if I didn't go to enjoy them and appreciate them. But of my own mind, I just didn't know, just don't know. And that I don't know is probably the wisest place to be, because that's when we can rest and not wrestle. We rest or we wrestle. So this rest is that Holy Mother's rest. We just rest and trust that it'll come. It will come. Rest and trust, it will come. That's it. That's the way we're given to live now. And as we live in that way, we get to enjoy it all instead of wrestle with it all. So every one of us, I thank you all. I love you all. Thank you for the resting. Thank you for joining me after the earthquake in witness that there are no earthquakes on the outside that can shake what is never shaken on the inside. And that's where we live, on this inside, in this inside territory, in this inside that is being presented and expressing now on the outside.